But I also really like the Topology Optimized Bridge, which we did with the University of Ghent, which really showcases the what I'd explained earlier is the potential to really use the philosophy of structural engineering. So this bridge is designed not by hand, but by the computer. It takes a block and it will remove material until it has a optimal shape. And this speaks to material reduction, sustainability, form freedom, all things that are really well suited for 3D printing of concrete. And the stuff we've seen right now in 3D printing of concrete in the world hasn't been using this technique optimally. So that bridge is a really good example of what you can actually do if you focus on the potential of structural engineering as well. And there's a few universities doing some things in this area, but I think that's really, hopefully that's really going to take off more in the next years.
That's interesting. So you're saying that rather than just printing straight walls, we can actually build walls that use less material and only use material where needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because once you look at that bridge and you can imagine the bridge being solid, right? And now imagine how much material you've just removed that wasn't serving any function at all in your bridge. Now, when you look at your own walls in your house, it scares you to know that most of it's in the middle doesn't do anything. It's just there because we don't like to have a hole in our wall, and it's there to keep the wind out, keep the water out, and keep the heat in. But it's not performing a structural function. So if you could remove half the wall and fill it with materials that perform these functions better, suddenly you're minimizing material and improving the function of your house. And these type of things are interesting to, sort of what we learned from the Mars projects too, right? They're quite out there, but that's where we want to be going eventually.
So how do you use that knowledge you've gained in the housing market? I know you all don't want to enter that, but it's a completely different type of thinking that is really needed in residential construction.
Agreed. I agreed. And honestly, I don't see that as our purpose. So it's too much to take on, right? It's the scale that we have as a company as well. We can't compete. There's a company in the USA called Icon, which you will know. In the USA, they get funding of $208 million or something of the sort. You can do whatever you like with that kind of money, right? It's not how it works here. So we have to focus more on the potential of the specific thing and make examples, and then hope that translates into the construction industry. For me to take on the construction industry, it's just too much, right? You will lose focus and therefore, in my opinion, not be effective. So it's something I can't take on, sadly, at the moment.
Yeah, but I know the money is much needed, but the scarcity of money has made you all far more creative.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
perhaps. I mean, compared to so when I compare myself to the concrete printing companies that have started from a construction firm, they spend a lot of money in early, whereas we had to bootstrap a lot, right? Which meant that we've done it very lean, but are also we also have much less pressure to have a return on investment on the first few years of our development. So many of the companies that have just built giant things, they have to start generating return on investment, whereas we're still lean and doing the projects we want in order to show what's possible and developing the technology to be better and better and better, because that's what's generating our income. That's what's generating our sales. So that difference you do see when it comes to how you fund, an innovation, which in the end makes us more creative, as you say, potentially.